Hello everyone, this is Jake from CINECALIBER. In this video today I'm going to be covering episode 4 of the new season of The Boys, which is season 4 of The Boys. So guys, this will be my second video on this TV show, so if there are any newcomers, please know that there's going to be a link in the description of this video if you want to catch my review and get caught up on episodes 1, 2, and 3. Being that they all premiered at the same time, I reviewed all those episodes in one video. Also, just to let everyone know that this is one of my most anticipated shows of the 2024 year. If you guys would like to see a more detailed analysis of that, please click the second link in this video, which will be in the description as well. And without further ado, we're going to get into some good stuff here. So, first off, I'm going to just kind of recap some of the main highlights from last episode that I think are going to be significant for the episodes moving forward, including this one. So, really, what happened in the last 3 episodes, the boys, they basically were going through some tough times, such as Billy. Billy is dying from his exposure to Tempe in season 3. You had Huey. His father had suffered a stroke, and then Huey had to deal with the return of his mother because of that. Then you had Frenchie. He was in a relationship with some guy, Colin, and you didn't really find out what was happening with that. But then you find out that he had murdered the guy's family during his hitman life. Okay, and then there was they kind of one of the big themes I saw was from the last 3 episodes was Starlight's past. They're trying to catch her. Like they're attacking her publicly, and it's kind of bringing a lot of things to light that are making Starlight look questionable. And it's all happening by a new character called Firecracker, and she has her own personal vendetta against Starlight, which is why she is doing this. So that was the big part last episode. And of course we have Kimiko. She's continuing to fight against her former terrorist self, Shining Light. And she has some kind of apparent connection to one of the members in the last episode. So, and then of course just kind of struggling to be the leader of the boys. He's just trying to figure it all out. And then on the Vought side of things from the last few episodes, you have Homelander. He continues to struggle with his psychosis and his excessive need to be loved, basically. And he has a very shaky relationship with his son Ryan, who seems to be the total opposite of him. We had A-Train. He basically, it was solidified that he's become a mole for so he's basically a part of the boys, if you ask me. And you had the Deep, who was starting to stand up for himself more, not so much the weasel that he has been the last few seasons. And then, of course, they debuted 2 new characters, Sister Sage, and we just talked about Firecracker. Sister Sage is known to be the smartest person in the world. Firecracker, despite her just talking crap about Starlight, I really haven't seen much of her powers yet, so we'll see. And then we have Victoria Newman, who's a new antagonist of the show. She kind of has been aligning herself more with Homelander because, he's going to basically help her get into the Oval Office. So there was that, right? And that's really it. We're going to get into the review for episode 4 now. And here we go. So, right off the bat, I have to get into that. You guys should know that I think that this episode proves without a doubt that Anthony Starr deserves an Emmy for his performance of Homelander. He is long overdue for an Emmy. I think this is arguably the best role in a drama series since Bryan Cranston as Walter White in Breaking Bad, without a doubt. There's just a moment in this episode where Homelander just is a complete, just psycho. Like, he enters the scene and it's just so built up. The suspense is just phenomenal. And then he just has a moment where he's just laughing maniacally. Like, he just nails that role so well. And it's just it's horrifying. Like, every time he is in the room, it feels like a horror movie. And only Anthony Starr can do that. And I'm telling you, like I'm saying it right here in this video, Anthony Starr needs an Emmy. And that's all there is to it. But I also really liked about that whole focus on Homelander this episode, this really shows that he's a bad person. Don't get me wrong. But he's really just a product of an evil system. And that the true villains of the whole show is Vought. I mean, even if Homelander is killed, Vought would just replace him with another overpowered soup. So really, you have to kill the idea, not the man. Because they will just do to Homelander what they did to Soldier Boy, to just replace him. So, I think that's interesting because it's really, if the boys want to win this war, they gotta take down Vought. That's really the ultimate end goal, if you ask me. Other than that, this was a huge turning point in the show, and it showed some true dark character moments for the boys. And we're gonna get into that here. Right off the bat was Huey. I mean, his father had a stroke, as I said in the recap, but now he's trying to get Compound V for his dad to save him, which it's kind of questionable because, like, Huey was one of the people taking Temp V last season, and you think he would have learned that you shouldn't mess with this stuff. It's dangerous. I get he wants to save his dad, but I just think that, like, he's going to be doing more bad than good, So, little questionable by Huey there. And then, of course, as I kind of talked briefly about it before, Starlight, she continues to be publicly slandered by Firecracker. And let me tell you, it reaches a breaking point in this episode. It turns into an absolute bloodbath of epic proportions. There's a fight scene that it leads to between Frenchie, Billy, and this guy Ezekiel, who I guess his powers are similar to like Mr. Fantastic. And then there's just a moment where it's just like a revelation that Billy has some kind of mysterious force inside of him, and then he just kind of goes black, and then that was it. Like, not that was it. I don't want to get too much into it, but it really showed an interesting aspect, and I'm wondering where they're gonna go with this. Like, does Billy have some unfound power with all the tampering with the V and everything? Who knows? Another thing to mention here was Frenchie. Of course, like I said, he's with this guy, Colin, who Frenchie murdered his family prior. It does, spoilers, of course, come out in this episode that Frenchie did kill his family, which shows, his own inner struggles with the demons of his past. So I like this arc has been developing his character, for the most part. Like, it's just showing, again, that theme of, their actions are just biting them, especially in this season. And then there was a sequence too with Shining Light. They attack Kimiko, who was with Huey at the time, and we discovered that there's a girl that was connected to Kimiko in the last episode. That apparently she was created by Kimiko. So, and again, still following that trend of someone's past is coming to bite them, and it's been following all the boys' characters so far. And then really, I liked too with that whole sequence when they're fighting Shining Light. Huey, I don't know, he fights one of the guys off, and then there's like a moment he just stands there and just all this guy's blood, and he just looks so like angry. And you gotta wonder, like, is he just gonna go off on another rampage like he did in season 3? I can never figure this character out. Like, he's trying to be good, but I feel like he's just been so swayed by dark actions lately, and I thought that was a neat, little tidbit there to see what's gonna happen, Huey, And then from there, I just want to cover the Vought storyline, that everything that happened with them in this episode. So I liked there was like a focus between A-Train and Huey, and A-Train to me has had a tremendous arc this season. And really for the show, like, he has built up every season as like an arc of redemption, and I mean, that makes me kind of worried. I feel like he's gonna be exposed soon, and then he's dead. So hopefully not, but that's just my feelings. Then we have like this was more of like a humorous part of the episode, was the Deep and Sister Sage's awkward relationship. They've been having like just these, sexual, tidbits here and there. And there was a moment where, like, he had to, like, lobotomize her in order for her to accept him, or I guess stomach having sex with him. And it was just kind of like, this is kind of awkward and weird, but it was still funny. Like, to me, it showed that side of the show that, like, I do enjoy, like, crazy grotesque humor, disgustingly funny for the most part. So, and then we're gonna go into what was a miss now. That was everything that was a hit, the bad. I don't have a whole lot for this show. I really like the writing a lot in this show, but the only thing that was a miss for me, there was a moment with Black Noir where he kind of is just like trying to figure his stuff out, and they're like, they shrug him off. I just think they're utilizing him very badly. I really liked the old Black Noir, and I really hope that they redeem his character somewhere along the line here. And then the other thing too for me was just the Frenchie storyline. Like, I liked that it developed his character, but really, what does this have to do with anything? The more the story goes on, it feels like it's just something to give him to do. Like, but I feel like there's so many other things they can do to make him significant. Like, I get that you want to build him up and show this dark past, but again, I'm just not understanding what this has to do with anything. So I hope that, I'm wrong and this does turn into something, That was really all I had that was a miss. It's been this was honestly the best episode. So, and we're gonna go into the conclusion here. So again, this was arguably the best episode of this new season so far. And despite, like, the slower paced initial 3 episodes that we got, this episode was well worth the payoff. Yeah, because it showed some really dark explorations of the boys and, of course, Homelander. This, to me, feels like a return to form of the show. Like, it shows why this show became a spectacle to begin with, and it's not so much focused on politics in this episode. It's really focusing on the aspects that people fell in love with the show. So, and that's why I think people are going to like it better than the first 3. Like, there's action, there's grotesque humor, there's dark character moments. Like, it's got everything. So, I have to say, with all that said, that I would give this show, as it is now, a current rating of a 4.5 out of 5. I thought it was that good. But yeah, guys, that's everything I had to cover for The Boys so far. We will be doing another video once the next episode releases. Like always, please comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. And that is all I have. And this is Jake from CINECALIBER.